It is 7:10 p.m. on November 6th, and we will call to order this meeting of the Weld RE5J Board of Education. Would you all please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance? The flag is behind you.
Above us.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. The board clerk, please call the roll of the board.
John Bruce.
Yes.
Sarah Hall. Here. Steve McCarthy.
Here.
Michael Wales.
Here.
Peggy Lacy.
Here.
Members of the board, you were presented with an agenda for tonight's meeting. The agenda that was prepared and sent out to you and the public ahead of time has had 2 items removed for tonight's meeting because they are no longer pertinent after last night's election. And so with the modified agenda that you see in front of you now in board docs, any questions or any other changes that you would like to see to that agenda?
I move we approve the agenda as presented.
Second. Motion approved by Ms. Wakeman, seconded by Mr. Wales. We'll move to a vote.
John Bruce.
Yes.
Sarah Hall. Yes. Steve McCarthy.
Yes.
Michael Wales.
Yes.
Peggy Lacy.
Yes.
Agenda is approved unanimously. No one has signed up to speak on agenda items tonight, so we will move on to item number 2. Item number 2A, reports and comments from board members. At this time, I'll open the floor to the board, whoever would like to speak and to go first.
I'll start. During the week of homecoming, I had the opportunity to help the middle schoolers make their float for the parade, which they then had the student council of other elementary schools join them on. I think they did a great job. They had a lot of help from staff at the middle school, so thank you for your help building the float and supervision. She's not here, but it's a lot of fun. Thank you for the students on the float for taking in the younger kids and kind of mentoring them and making sure they're safe for the parade. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Well, it's hard. It's going to be hard for me to have any comments that aren't going to be related to the results of the election. I'm glad Sarah reminded me. I was able to attend the homecoming parade, and that was a great thing because I can remember having homecoming parades years ago, and it was kind of fun to have that community feel back. Had the opportunity as well to participate in the RE5K. I kept calling it the RE5J 5K, but it's RE5K this past weekend, and didn't come in first. I thought I had a chance at it, but we finished in the middle of the pack, let's just say it. But it was a good time, and I really want to take my hat off to our wellness committees and all the schools for putting that together. I think I'm excited to see that event grow because there were a lot of people participating, and there were a lot of families participating, and that's what it was really about, was getting the families together. Today was a tough day. I'll be honest with you. I didn't want to get out of bed. I didn't want to come here. I wanted to stay home. I wanted to think about the things that had happened. But I got up. I did my regular morning routine. I went to the office, and earlier today, Leslie and I had the opportunity to go over to Ledford and just just make sure that our staff didn't lose hope, especially the staff in that building. I don't work in that building, but I've heard the stories, and I can imagine after the results of last night's election how difficult that would be to walk into that building and not have any certainty, not have any closure as to where this is going. And so as a small token, we took cookies to them, and we told them this was literally the least we can do for you guys, is give you cookies. We upset a lot of children because they thought they were getting cookies too. We made sure that the staff got cookies. And so a lot of questions have been asked, where do we go from here? How do we move forward? And I'm excited and I'm eager to get feedback from the community. I really want to understand where we fell short with this. As of today, I don't know how I would look at the plan that we put forward and I could take something out of it, because I truly believe we put forward a comprehensive plan that addressed issues that have been so overlooked for many, many years. And I don't want it to sound like I'm passing the buck, but we got stuck with the bill. And we're going to go back in the kitchen and wash dishes tonight because we don't have the money to pay the bill. But we're going to figure it out. This board is going to figure this out. Like I said, I don't know what we take out of this plan to make it palatable for the community. And so I'm eager to hear the feedback.
Mr. Wells?
Good comments, Michael, and I would agree with you, but I spend a lot of my day being frustrated and angry, and then it occurred to me that I'm grateful for the opposition that we had, because I believe it made us stronger on what we were working for and where we want to go. I still believe we have an excellent plan for this school district, and as you verbalized it earlier, but we all thought about it, Michael, was that this is a plan that will stay with us and last us for years. It wasn't just this year's shot at how can we make this happen for our school district. We have direction, we have a plan, and maybe we have a little tweaking to do, but I believe that we can still move forward with good things to happen.
Thank you, Ms. Wickman. For a variety of reasons, I'm going to read my comments off the cuff. There are some in our community who will look at last night's election results and see victory. And I would guess the vast majority of them did not send students to our schools today. I don't have to guess, because I know that the vast majority of those who stood opposed and saw victory last night chose not to attend or participate in the numerous community meetings that were held beginning last November and continuing into the fall, where they could have asked their questions, voiced their concerns, offered their solutions, and been informed of the full scope of the issues that we're addressing in our district. Still, others did attend some of those many meetings and either chose not to voice their concerns or didn't invest the time to understand the issues. And yet they feel victorious. But they're wrong. The only victory in this is to delay for another year the long overdue improvements to our educational facilities, and to extend for another year the students of our community attending schools in insufficient facilities. The burden of this so-called victory is paid by those who had no voice in this election. On the other side, there are those in our community who put in the work, who participated in the process, who invested time, energy, thought, consideration, but who look at last night's election and see failure. They are equally wrong. Last night was a setback, but it's not a failure. It's only a failure if we stop moving forward. While I will not speak on behalf of the new Board of Education, as my term is coming to a close in the next 2 weeks, I am confident that this new board will come back strong. And they will do what is done in education. They will listen, they will learn, they will communicate, and they will move forward. And they've got a year to inform our community of the necessity of investing in our schools. And they will be a force to be reckoned with. To all of you who put in the time and the effort, to this Board of Education who sat through 3 to 4 times the volume of meetings in the last year that we have had in years past, who gave your sweat and your time and your intentionality to this effort and your support, I say thank you. It was an honor to serve alongside you this last year. To our staff, to our parents, to our families who gave so much of their time, so much of their outside of school time, so much of their thought and their intentionality to this process, thank you. You are an honor to your profession and to our community. I hope those who see victory last night choose to participate this time. Actually participate. I hope they will invest the time to understand the issues and the constraints, that they will listen thoughtfully to the solutions and the considerations, and that they will come to a place of support for our kids, our families, and our communities. If they choose not to, and they again come beyond the 11th hour to critique that which they have ignored, they'll have to explain their hypocrisy next time. Thank you to our community who gave so much for this. This is round one, ladies and gentlemen, and there's a lot more rounds to go. We'll move on now to item 2B, report from our superintendent's office. Ms. Arnold?
Thank you, President McCarthy, members of the board. I'd first like to say my comments that I missed our last board meeting, but I really wanted to thank the community, to thank our parents, to thank our students, to thank especially the board as well, and of course our staff, of just taking such great care of me over these last 3 weeks. It's been an interesting journey, and it's been one kind of a roller coaster, and I just really appreciate the care that you have shown and given to me and my family in order to heal and to be better and to come back strong. So it was sad to have to come back though today to this, because this isn't what we worked for. What we worked for was kind of a better future, a better pathway. And I wanted to just take a minute tonight to just talk a little bit about what I inherited when I started as superintendent of this school district. And on the surface, everything seemed fine. Everything seemed like it was the way it should be. This is how it should go. Everything was in order. Everything was kind of tamped down. No one spoke out a lot about it. But if anyone knows me, they know that I kind of dig a little bit deeper. I ask questions. I ask what you want to do, how do you want to do better in your jobs, what do you think about what you're doing, what can we do better as a district. I said that not just to my staff at the district office, I said it to every staff in the schools and our principals. Oh, I thought that was my Siri talking to me. So I just want to say that when I started digging, it goes a lot deeper than the roof at Lutford. It goes a lot deeper than the roof at Milliken Elementary School. And I'm bringing those two up tonight because both of those this week have had significant water damage to them. And I have been accused by our former superintendent that I have not fixed that roof at Lutford since I started. I'm looking straight at a Lutford staff member right now, and I'm guessing we put in close to, I would say, $70,000 in repairs just in one weekend, trying to get that roof figured out and to keep it dry inside. It's more than just what you would think a roof on your house. This is a building that has been built and then built on against and built kind of just stacked with different roof types, different heights, different material structure, etc. And a roof for an elementary school isn't the same cost as a roof for your house. The roof for an elementary school is over $1 million to put in. So my choices are, do I go ahead and put $1 million into a roof at Lutford Elementary School thinking, okay, this has a 20-year warranty. We need to stay here for 20 more years. Or do I support the plan that the community built, the board endorsed, the staff got behind, and said, we will keep repairing this roof until we can get into this building that's going to support the learning that needs to go on. It's more than the roof. I've been accused by our former superintendent that I've done no repairs at other schools. I've been accused that there are things that I have mismanaged or I have overspent in different areas. This is a gentleman who has told me to never call him again, to never speak to him again, and that he would never come to a meeting with me. I even asked one of our board members to sit with me and him to talk about things, and he refused to show up and he refused to come. This is bigger than just a roof. This is about a future plan that we're building here for this school district, I am 100% committed for this plan. This isn't, I don't believe for 1 second that this 5B failed because of a new high school wasn't being built. That's not the comments I was hearing. That the comments were, there wasn't enough information. There was maybe too much, a little bit of confusion on some stuff. And I get that, and we can own that, and we're ready to listen, and we are ready to tackle that problem and make it better so that we have more understanding next year. This isn't about a new high school that former superintendent never brought to the board up for a bond. And to come in at the last moment when the ballot issue was already sent to the county and say, this is the wrong bond, I can't support it, after the language was sent to the county, isn't fair to anyone sitting in this room that cares about our education, our community, and going forward with how we're not just going to do school, but where we're going to do school. So we have some tough challenges this year to think about. We have things that we have to figure out about Lethbridge. We need our Plan B and Plan C strong, because if we have a bad winter, we're going to need a Plan B for Lethbridge. And I don't really know what that is. We have some ideas. We will work on it. And then the other piece to this, I just want to say that we worked really, really hard on this. And I felt that when I went to Lethbridge with Mr. Wales today, I didn't know what I was going to see. I didn't know if I was going to see tears in the hallway or, you know, hanging heads. That is not, we didn't see that in one classroom. We saw smiles, we saw kids, they were hugging on their kids. They were excited that we were there, they thanked us, and then they said, guess what? They show up every day. And that's what we do, and that's the professionals that we have, and I just want to thank our staff. So, and thank you for being here. There's a lot of staff here tonight, so thank you for that too. Lastly, I just would like to also congratulate our 2 new board members and Sarah Hall from being elected last night. That there was some positives. That was a close race. But you guys did it. You pulled through 100%. And then also I'd like to just put out there that we did speak with Weld County Election Committee today, and 5A is under recount because it does. We are 10 votes away, and we are going to work hard to get those 10 votes. So, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Welcome back. Moving on to item 2C, report from the CFO's office. I invite Ms. Sanchez to come forward.
So before we talk about the financial statements, I thought I would summarize the enrollment. I did send some information to the board last month, but I was not at the meeting, so I thought I'd talk about that quickly first. So in the budget for the current year plan for 107 additional FTE for increase in the kindergarten funding due to the change in the law where we got the increase from 0.58 to 1.0. And we also plan for 70 new students for growth, for 177 students total. While the kindergarten projection did come in and it actually exceeded what we planned for, but the student growth did not come in. So the end result is that the district is 80 students short of projections. The current funded enrollment is 3,497 funded count, and last year it was 3,400. So the change in enrollment will be included in the normal planning process for the amended budget that is presented in January, along with the updated 5-year projections. The district has available reserves to cover the enrollment shortage in the current year. It's estimated to be about $644,000. Now these are all preliminary numbers. We actually do the October count snapshot final on November 8th. So we'll have, it'll probably change from maybe 4 or 5 students, probably to the positive, but I don't have that information yet. And then preliminary audit numbers show that the district fund balance is approximately $300,000 higher than planned. So right there, that will take a big chunk out of the hit for us in our other reserves this year. So that's nice that we have that to offset that. So now we'll move on to the financial statements unless someone wants to ask any questions about enrollment first. So the revenues and expenditures are coming in as planned. We're at 24.64% of budget compared to 24.03% last year. We have $3 million in district reserves that consist of approximately $1.74 million in available reserves and $1.26 million that are committed for TABOR and other things required by law. So the $1.74 million that are one-time funds can be used for district needs at any time. If these funds are used though, we always plan to replenish these reserves in a reasonable amount of time. So it might not be reasonable to, like, for example, if we took out $1 million to do a roof, then we want to try and put that back in and not have a big hit in 1 year trying to put the whole $1 million back in. We maybe do $250,000 or $350,000 a year, whatever works out in the planning process. And, you know, we wouldn't expect enrollment to stay flat again. We can't imagine that to be flat. We will budget more conservatively next year. But I anticipate our enrollment will not stay flat in the year. It's been between like 70 and 85 for the last 4 years. We had 1 year that was down to 40 out of the trend, so it's kind of an anomaly. So, and as far as the capital reserve fund, the major planned expenditures in this report include $261,000 for continued work on the modulars. And it is important to keep in mind that invoices are received after the fact, so some of the expenses might still come in through October financials, which will be presented to the next meeting. Scheduled lease payments of $89,000 were also paid in September, and there are currently still $747,000 in available reserves in the capital reserve fund. And those are really the main highlights for September. We're still really early in the year. Does anybody have any questions?
Thank you.
Sure.
Thanks for your thorough analysis and the presentation, Ms. Zamborski. We appreciate it. Moving on from the report section to the consent agenda, you've been presented with an agenda that includes minutes from the previous meeting and personnel items. Are there any items any board member would wish to have taken off for special discussion or consideration? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll move to approve the consent agenda.
I second it.
Motion to approve the consent agenda by Ms. Hall, seconded by Ms. Wakeman. We move to a vote.
John Bruce,
Yes.
Sarah Hall. Yes. Steve McCarthy,
Yes.
Michael Nails,
Yes.
Peggy Wakeman.
Yes.
Consent agenda approved unanimously. Moving on to item 6, special business. Item 6A, district assurances for financial accreditation checklist. I'm assuming this is you again, Ms. Zamborski, right?
Well, I'll come to the podium, but this was actually coincides with the audit, and our auditors just called and they were halfway here and they said the roads were horrible. They were at 4 in the morning and they turned back around. So they've asked to reschedule it. So we'll ask the board for some dates that they have by law. We have to do this before December 31st.
Before when? December what?
December 31st.
31st?
And I've already checked with the auditors, they do have another commitment, that where they're presenting another district audit on November 20th. So that one wouldn't work, but I think we have a December
18th,
19th, 3rd and 18th or something.
December 9th.
9th and
There
18th.
probably is not, there's not room in the December 9th meeting, I would assume.
Okay. And remember in this presentation usually takes 30 minutes at the most, 20 to 30.
Yeah, that's going to be about 3 or 4 hours.
Oh, okay.
And I'd like to remind the board that we do need him here because this is an audit of Ms.
Right.
Zamborski's.
She can't
Work.
speak to it.
And
Well, I
so-
could, but,
or she could,
No,
and.
you could, you're capable
She
of
is
it,
very-
for sure, but it is appropriate to hear from our
That's
auditor.
Right.
So, do we have a December 18th meeting planned? Mike?
Yeah, I've been focusing so much on December 9th, that I kind of forgot.
Right.
Yes.
December 18th, etc.?
Yes, we do.
Ms. Zamborski, if you could see if that date is available for them.
Okay.
If not, then that would require a special meeting to hear from the auditor and approve the audit results. Okay.
Great, thank you.
I'm assuming that, well, not assuming, it is stated that that takes care of item 6B as well for tonight. So we will table items 6A and 6B for December 18th. And we will hear from Mr. Sabo, is that how you say it? All right, moving on to item 6C.
This was put in there when I was at home.
For me.
Okay.
I put this in here.
Okay,
This in
good.
here.
All right,
I'll take this one.
okay.
Item 6C is just a discussion by the Board of Education, clarifying the dates for the Civica review. The Civica that being the charter school that has an application before our district accountability committee and administrative staff. At the community meeting, there was some confusion about what the decision-making process is going to be, so I just want to make sure the board is updated and also the community. Based on the date of receipt of the application from Civica for their charter school, we had 90 days to issue the board's determination on whether or not to accept that application. That landed on November 28th. For those of you that are familiar with your calendars, that's Thanksgiving Day. So we're not going to have a meeting on Thanksgiving Day. So the reasonable date would have been the Wednesday before the 27th. However, because of the change in the board, that Mr. Bruce and I will no longer be serving at that time, we felt, well, we'll be serving now and not serving after that time. We felt it was appropriate that the incoming board would be the board that would actually make the determination on that application, which would include Mr. Sassano and Mr. Scott. And so we approached Civica with a request for extension of that deadline. They were agreeable to that. So the new deadline for the decision by the Board of Education on their application is December 12th. Okay. So that has been agreed upon and signed. A memorandum of understanding by both parties has been signed, and so everybody's on board with that date. We have scheduled a meeting December 9th for that new Board of Education to hold, and that's why I was referring to December 8th. It's going to be a lengthy meeting, because it is the meeting in which the board will hear from the District Accountability Committee, their findings and their review and conversation with the Civica board. Also hear from the administrative staff, their recommendations, concerns, whatnot for that application. And potentially make a decision. If the board feels that they have enough information to make a decision that evening, a decision could be rendered on December 9th. If there are things that that board feels they need answers to, you have until December 12th to make that final decision. So it's plenty of time to schedule another meeting for the 11th and 12th. It fulfills all the notification requirements, and so a decision could be delayed as long as December 12th. So I just wanted to clarify that there is no December 4th board meeting. I know that date used to be on the calendar for the board. We pulled that into November 20th. There's nothing on the agenda for November 20th regarding Civica, because that will be a December 19th. So with that level of communication and clarification, are there any questions or anything else that needs to be cleared up regarding the dates for the review of the Civica charter application? Okay.
Thanks for that clarification.
Just for everyone's knowledge, and you 6 or 7 of us are aware of this, the board, including the incoming board members, have been reviewing that application since early October. So thank you for your diligence in going through that document in preparation for that meeting. So could be a decision as early as December 9th, will not be a decision earlier than December 9th by the board, and that decision may be delayed to December 9th. Okay? All right, we'll move on to item 8A, citizen comments on general topics. 3 people have signed up to speak. You will be invited forward in order of your signing up. You will have 3 minutes to speak. Please begin your time stating your name, your address, and then after that introduction and stating your address, your 3 minutes will begin. I do have a brief statement I would like to read regarding public comment at Board of Education meetings. So allow me to read this announcement for you. The public comment section of a board meeting is offered by the board as a courtesy to hear from the public. Members of the community are invited to share their comments with the board on district matters, offer critique of board operations and decisions, and propose solutions to the board. It is not a time to spread rumor or innuendo, or to attack district personnel, board members, or any member of the public specifically. If we feel your comments are becoming disruptive, the board will respectfully ask you to redirect your comments. If you do not, the board may suspend the remainder of your comment time. If disruptive behavior persists among multiple speakers, the board may exercise its right to move to terminate the public comment section of the meeting. Thank you for abiding by these guidelines, and the board looks forward to hearing from you. So the first to speak is Ms. Amanda Proctor. Would you come forward and state your name and address, please, and then you'll have 3 minutes for your comments.
Amanda Proctor, 2314 Carriage Drive, Milliken. I come here tonight to talk about 5A and 5B. I appreciate the community, the staff, and the board's work on these particular two issues to help our community. I too believe that the 5B plan starting with Lutford was a great plan and well overdue. Now, I'm very encouraged by the board's comments. I'm glad that everybody took a moment to be sad, but is looking towards the future, because I believe the children in this community are worth this board and the staff to go back to the drawing board, reach out to the community, and maybe put out a survey and ask people, why did you choose no? And really ask why. And spend a lot of time listening and soul-searching to those and coming back and forming a different option. I've had the very fortunate experience of my kids not going to Lutford, but I've been in that school, and it makes me very sad for those kids. They deserve better. And as we as a community, we need to really look hard at each other and listen to our neighbors. And I hope that this board and the staff continues to go out in the community, have meetings, and ask questions, and really dig into what the no's are. Then we can address the no's as a community to provide more information, if that's what it is, to provide clarification, or whatever we need to do to get another 150 votes. So thank you for continuing, and let's move forward with providing our future what we need.
Thank you, Ms. Proctor. Next to speak is Miss Becky Bassett.
Rebecca Bassett, 2424 White Lane, Johnston. President McCarthy, members of the board, and Superintendent Arnold. Just wanted to take a few minutes to share my appreciation. I am so thankful to have a superintendent and school board that looks at the whole picture and makes decisions based on what makes sense and impacts the entire district. I appreciate all of the hard work and time that each and every one of you has put into our master plan. I received a very supportive text today from an ex-student that is now a parent. She shared that the result of this election has pushed her to be more involved in the school district as well as next year's election. She stated that, quote, we have to change the course that we have been stuck on for the last 15 years. I fully agree. Let's turn these results into an opportunity for the next election. Thank you for all you do.
Thank you, Ms. Bassett. And finally, Ms. Angie Cooper.
President McCarthy, members of the board, and Superintendent Arnold. First of all, if I start crying, if you know me, you know that when I get upset or angry, I cry, as you guys all saw earlier tonight. To say the least, I'm a little saddened and disheartened by the outcome of the election, which I think there are a lot of people are. But I would like to thank the school board for all that they have done for our district, the work on their bond, and their forward thinking and vision. Ms. Arnold, I would like to thank you for bringing educational vision to our district that it didn't have before, for going after grant monies that we were told was just too much red tape to get. Today, I have received many phone calls and text messages, Facebook messages of support. My mom even called me at 6:30 this morning crying, and she doesn't live here, so you know where I get my tears from. To Lutford staff and students, I would like to say that we love you, and we're sorry that you didn't get what you needed. Sorry. And that we care about you and that we're here for everything that you do. Many times, as a school district employee, since 2008, we have been told at many a meeting that the sun will come up and the lights will be on. And it's true. We came to work today, the sun was up, and the lights were on. And it's still going to continue to happen. There's nothing we're going to do about that. But in addition to that, we're still going to have rain in our buildings, leaks in our roofs, electrical fires, swampy smells, really hot classrooms, really cold classrooms, ceiling held up by 2x4s, and the list goes on and on. But as teachers, we are going to be here as well. Because we are teachers, we are professionals, and we love our kids. We're going to do what we do best, and we're going to teach our kids because we are Well-Darby 5J.
Thank you very much, Ms. Cooper. No one else has signed up to speak, so that concludes our citizen comment on general topics. Board members, are there any other items, any other comments that you would care to make, any items to be discussed?
I would like to see us plan some work sessions. I'm not sure if we want to, we need to start immediately. That it might be a few weeks before we can do that, but I think our first step is to get our plan of action and know where we're headed, what we want to do.
Yeah, and I'd echo that. I discussed this with Ms. Arnold this morning. In addition to, obviously we're gonna have to do some work sessions, but I'd like us to seriously consider doing some work sessions with the folks at Eaton, Greeley, Thompson Valley. They've gone through this. They've lost elections and they've come back and they've won them. Eaton and Greeley got theirs last night. And I think it would be really beneficial for us to see what they did, what steps they took, how they engaged the public to get that information back. What did they do with their messaging that was different? I suggested that we also sit down with our local fire district. The board of the local fire district is a work session. They had a very successful election a couple of years ago, but it wasn't a home run. There was a lot of work that went into that because they were dealing with a unique situation between two communities, and so I know early on we did get some information from them on some tips and tricks on some of the things that we should be doing, and so I would really love for us to be thinking of doing some work sessions with those organizations as well, and our towns. I think we have a really strong relationship with the town of Johnstown. We have a special connection to the town of Milliken, but I think we have a strained relationship right now with the town of Milliken, and I would really love to see us overcome that as well through work sessions and partnering with them with that. So I'm all in favor of as much as I wanted to sit back this year and watch the architects and the design teams go to work and take a breath. I mean, I got another year in me that I could slog it out for multiple meetings a week, so I'm in favor.
I think one of the things that concerns me the most is people feeling like they did not know what was happening, and we had no attendance at most of our community meetings. To me, that's our biggest barrier, is getting the word out to the public of what our plan is, what we're doing in each building, why it needs to be done, and trying to involve the community more on understanding the needs that we have in each building.
As everyone echoed, it's a rough day. I started off really disappointed. I had my sad moments, I had my angry moments. But a sad moment, a student in the district reached out and talked about how it always takes the village to raise a student, and the student said, but the village is failing us. As students, they're failing us. How can you do this to us? And that really hit home. And so I want to say it for the board. I want to say it for the entire village, to the students. I'm sorry that you feel that we're failing you, and we're really working hard to help you. Let us, I guess, any student that wants to get involved and help us make it a positive next year, please come help us.
Okay, members of the board, your comments? Any other items for discussion? Okay, at 7:48, we will adjourn the meeting. Ladies and gentlemen of the public, thank you very much for being here tonight. From our staff, thank you. Please take your time getting home. Be very, very safe out there.
Oh, we must have been praising you already. Yeah. Oh, next.